all their siblings as well get a toy and an experience near Christmas. So the smiles that you see on the kids' faces and the satisfaction throughout the year, that stuff's priceless. You can't put a price on that. And I know the average school is between about $4,000 and $5,000 for hard costs. And what we really get from that is something priceless and satisfaction. But I just want to take a moment, and I'd like to put a price tag on it. I come from a stockbroker and a bank and investment management background, so I kind of started to think like one regarding this program. So I just want you to humor me for a minute as I go through these numbers. The numbers aren't exact, but they're close. And I'm going to ask for a favor for you, for us going forward in the years and probably decades to come. I believe, let's just say these are rough numbers, about $88 per day per student is some numbers I got off online. And again, these numbers aren't exact, just humor me. In a perfect attendance, that's about $16,700 a year. If your ADA or average attendance is just above 90%, that's about $15,000 per student, as opposed to $16,700. In many of the schools that we've heard over the years that we've been doing this, they give these bikes for attendance and perfect attendance. We've been told multiple times that number's at about 20% increase in attendance with these kids. And if you hear the stories with the kids, you'll see that there's a lot of motivation for these bikes. 20% increase at 600 students per school. Some may be more, some may be less. That's about a $1,500 loss per student at 90% attendance. If we increase that by 20% and have a 92% attendance rate, that's at approximately about $300 per student per school that we do this program at. That's 600 students enrolled at a school at $180,000 average with that 2% increase. For a $4,000 to $5,000 donation or investment to get a return, a $3,500 return, from a donor perspective or a banking perspective, that's substantial. And I know we can't fix all the fiscal woes of Fresno County finances and schools and all that good stuff, but we could use your help in three things really. One is we've got all these schools that are asking us to do this for them. Maybe you could identify some of those schools that are having the toughest time with attendance. And maybe those are the schools that we look at adding as we're able to add. Second is business owners or other donors that you know around those schools. So we don't just do a shotgun approach and just ask this person and that person if they want to donate to a program like this, but people that are invested in the community that those specific schools that you might identify for us might be. And then lastly, these were approximate numbers. I could be way off, and you tell me I'm just don't have it straight. Maybe you could help me with some of these numbers, and I know you can. And maybe sometime we get a cup of coffee or something and say, what is really the ratios look like? Maybe talk to some of these schools and say, okay, what is this program really doing when it comes to increase in attendance and the obvious motivation behind that? And I know it's not about putting a number to the smiles and the satisfaction from the schools, but I just thought I would kind of throw that in there and have some fun with it. So I appreciate you all again. Thank you so much. And hopefully 1 year we'll be back again down the road. There's a lot of different projects at Project Student Aid other than just this one, bikes and backpacks. We also supply clothing for over 200 schools in Fresno County that the schools suggest these kids need clothes and we clothe them and their families. So maybe we'll talk about that down the road. So thank you very much.
Great.
I just wanted to add at 4:15, I got a new grandbaby.
Oh my gosh.
To the ring the bells.
Thank you so much. If you would just wait for a few minutes to hear what Superintendent Nieves shared with Deputy Superintendent Lyra about this program and the meaning for Layton Elementary School. Dr. Lyra?
Of course, and what I did is I filtered through some of the kind words that were already shared in regards to what was shared from Superintendent Nieves, and then I also had here an addition, which was the words shared from the principal of Layton Elementary Middle School, who also said that this year the bike donations played an important role in supporting attendance initiatives, and beyond the attendance initiatives, there is that domino effect, which supports everything else in terms of schools of students being successful. And she actually had with them Diana Zamora, who had just finished third grade. Diana was one of the recipients of a donated bike and also earned tickets to Sky Zone through the attendance initiatives. She maintained perfect attendance throughout the entire school year. In addition to her outstanding attendance, Diana is a hardworking student who consistently continued to excel in class. And then we had a beautiful note from Mom, which was Spanish speaking, which was present as well. And she wanted to say that she really writes this note from the bottom of her heart and with her entire heart, because she knows what it feels like to walk into a room when your daughter has just received a bike that she worked extremely hard for. Her smile filled up the room, and it not only was a goal for her to be there present every day, but you don't understand what it brought to her beyond the attendance was also for her to achieve the highest level of academics that she has achieved in the school year. And that she also wanted to recognize that behind these decisions, behind this work, is a group of adults that care enough to put students first. And she'd like to thank every single one of you for providing these positive opportunities for not only her daughter, but other students as well.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just wanted to reflect that I was at the Christmas program when Superintendent Nieves walked in the room also. And she was blown away with the beautiful event and the gifts for the kids that her school, at Layton Elementary, had recommended. And those kids were just like totally, amazed at the beautiful winter wonderland that they walked into. And the little third grader that came in today, I did say hello to her. She was so excited about the beautiful pink bicycle that she had. And she said she hadn't had a chance to ride it yet. So I don't know when she got it. But, I'm thinking that some of these rural kids might not have the right roads to be able to ride their bikes on. Maybe it's that she was waiting for a special moment. We didn't talk about that, but she was really delighted to be here, and I appreciate you for waiting and coming and for doing the work that you're doing. Any other comments about the project?
The bicycles. I have a horse riding deal, and they have a lot of Girl Scout kids come in the same age group every year. And we said, get on like a bicycle. And they said, I don't know how. It's amazing how many kids don't ride a bike, don't have a clue. So it's just a exercise, balance, coordination thing that we all got when we were kids. But I was shocked at how many kids don't get to go through that. And so anyway, I think that this thing has more value than you might think, these bicycles.
Well, just the impact on that third grader. Yeah. Perfect attendance, best grades ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's beautiful. Paving the way for the rest of her educational career. So, and hopefully that motivated their peers also.
All because of a bicycle.
Right. Exactly. So thank you for the work. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Thank you, darling. I was a late arrival at Christmas. My aunt passed away that morning. So I was running late. I tried to catch up with my colleagues after making some phone calls and text them, I'm coming. By the time I got there, it was beautiful and you were starting to take everything down. But I got to see the decorations and the toys, and everyone was busy little bees running around, starting to take it down. But it was gorgeous. I did get some pictures because it was fantastic. Just the level that you went to with the decorations and how well organized everything was. It was very beautiful. I did catch it before you took it down. So I just wanted to make that point. I rolled in and kind of rolled out. And then just maybe with the bikes, I know I always buy my grandsons their first bikes. I always make sure there's training wheels on them because maybe that's an extra fun we might need to look at to make sure the training wheels are on there because the new generation, they need the help of the train and helmets and the pads and elbows, all of that. Yes. But thank you so much for what you do for our students. We appreciate you. Beautiful job. Thank you.
I'm going to get.
You know, I'm the retired school librarian. I'm always in costume. Let me know. Hit me up.
I know Superintendent Nieves was looking for local donors to help support. I haven't heard if she's found them. Have you by chance? Yeah, okay. Please be in touch. Great. Thank you again. Thank you. Okay, yay.
Yes, bravo.
So now we're moving on to our next board project that we're going to hear about, the Special Olympics Northern California Young Athletes Program. And this is the advancer, I think, for you, because I am not. And so this is Molly Marquez and Megan Swain. Morgan, not Megan.
Do we know?
I don't know.
Pointed towards the back.
The Special Olympics PowerPoint.
The computer shut.
Oh. Oops.
We can just talk to that.
Okay.
It has turned off.
Maybe you could start talking.
Yeah, while they get it going.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having us here to your meeting today. I know you have a very full agenda, so we appreciate you giving us a few moments to just report back on your very generous donation to two of our projects for this past school year. You very generously supported our Young Athletes program as well as our middle school expansion. And Special Olympics, for anyone who's not familiar, we offer sports programming for those with intellectual disabilities. But in addition to that, we also work to teach health and wellness education, leadership skills, and so much more. So it's sports and your very generous donation helped us to expand our programming this past school year. Morgan has the pleasure of working with many of our schools here locally and can share a bit about what that increase looked like and how important it is. If there are slides, there's some data there, but if not, we can just chat.
I'm Morgan Swain. I run the schools programming for Fresno County. I do a ton with high school, but very little with young athletes, which is 2 to 8 years old, and a little bit more with middle school. Central Unified has a great liaison. She's on top of it, and I do a lot out of Rio Vista Middle School. But some of the funding we did a young athletes TK and pre-K day out of the elementary and Central Unified, and it was wonderful. We got to buy all of them jerseys, equipment. It was about 20 minutes too long for each session. We had them for like an hour, so it was wonderful. And then middle school, we've kind of doubled this year. We just signed an MOU with Fresno Unified last year. And we're working on getting their unified program started on middle school so that when they get into high school, they already know what unified programs are offered, and it kind of leads them into a leadership role, but it also encourages gen ed kids to play with special ed kids, and that's how I got into my job is blending these two together. So I don't have to write IEPs or do anything, I just get the fun side of sports. So in our young athletes, we got 101 total participating classes, and then 41 schools for about 3,000 students for events. And then for middle school, we have 22 classes participating. This is just in Fresno and Central Unified because that's where we contract with, so that's where my data comes from. But I have already scheduled for this upcoming year 4 more middle school events from Clovis Unified, Fresno, and Central. So that's showing a lot of growth. We've had a couple meetings about the unified programs, and I've been able to fund a couple uniforms and equipment for basketball to get them started. I drop everything off typically if they don't have it, but I'm grateful to not always drop off, so I was able to get them all and stuff started. And then it just gives them a way to get into what we really run is a lot of high school programs. So Dr. Mahmoud was able to come to track and field and see kind of what was there, and it takes a big lift. So I'm happy to get the kids in early. And then also the parents, I get to come invest in their kids and see a sports day is not something they get to do typically every day with their special needs kids. So it was really special to open up to the young athletes. It was packed with parents and middle school too. So they're always asking for more. They want more. And we try to give as much as we can. So it really went a long way. And I think it'll go a couple more years even in the future. So.
Oh, presentation.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Thank you, thank you. So we kind of have talked about these things already. Oh, thank you. There's some really cute pictures though. So this is the data and some photos from the Young Athletes event. And the data for middle school that we just talked about. If our video
Oh man, there's so much going on. Teams battling out on the court. We got the cheering section.
Have hundreds of people cheering for them. They look forward to it. It makes them feel proud of themselves. I began to actually realize the kind of bond that we make is truly amazing. The difference is melt away.
Sales wonders brackets. This makes it a better place to be.
It's probably the best part of the school, right?
I think every school should have it.
They're just smiling the whole time. It's pure joy.
As I say, for my new idea.
Yeah, I did make friends. One is named Kenny and Lyndon, and I got Dominic, Dylan, and I got Nate. Nate will help him out. He'll help him. Make me happy.
For my son Derek, it has been absolutely incredible. It's given him an opportunity to compete in sports that wouldn't be acceptable to him otherwise, because he would never be strong enough to keep up with a general education peer.
So the three parts of a unified champion school are full school engagement, inclusive youth leadership, and unified sports.
Getting our program started, I felt that our Special Olympics chapter was incredibly valuable. They provided the resources to go ahead and say, this is how you can do it.
I would say the first step is quite easy. It's just doing it, like making the commitment, and then from there branching out.
It has made our school more welcoming. It's made it kinder. There's just as much of a cheer, even louder cheer sometimes. They are celebrating unified athletes. They realize that they are part of our school. It's part of the fabric of what makes freedom what it is.
It will be the best part of their day. It will be the best part of their year. And it was the best thing that we did.
I think all schools should consider a unified sports program just because of the opportunity it provides to the students.
It makes them feel like they can do anything else that together, which is perfect. We love that.
When you get the whole school involved, it helps spread the message of inclusion and acceptance among the entire student body. And that is a beautiful thing to see.
This kid goes up for a shot and he goes in. And the whole crowd like freaked out. We had all the kids from the stands coming at us. Those are the moments I think it's all about.
It's been a big gift. I'm a huge fan.
My son's autistic, and that's what I want for him. That's what I want for my students, is just that they're accepted and treated like anybody else.
You are helping to make that happen, and we are so grateful and hope that as you go throughout future school years, that you'll consider Special Olympics, maybe come out to an event, see it for yourself, and experience that joy that's happening in the community. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I will say that the event I went to was spectacular. I had never been to a Special Olympics event, and those kids were just so excited. They were.
Started with kids and then you punch with them. The leadership.
Maybe some friends.
Yeah. So if you have anything, reach out, I'll tell you.
It was really special. Yeah. anyhow, any questions, comments, team? Just keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Thank you for waiting also this afternoon. Thank you. But I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Okay, moving right along, item J3, Dr. Corey Greenlaw, Fresno County Superintendent's Local Control Accountability Plan. You can keep that over there. I don't need it.
I have to say, it's a little bit unfair that you go from that to this.
Well, you know, we had to mix it up a little bit. You didn't get through the parts that we had to go through.
It's okay. We're happy to see you.
So today, we have several things that we're going to be presenting today that have to do with various plans and obligations and requirements that during this month that required by the state of California to be presented for a board for approval at times. Some of them are just reports. So today I'm going to start with 2 reports and then we'll go through some of the others so you can see the cast of characters that will come up in different areas to be able to present the elements that they're responsible for. I'm going to start off with J1, which is the Local Control Accountability Plan and Differentiated Assistance Annual Summary Report. This is the requirement that comes from Education Code 52066, and in the beginning, all the way back to 2019, 2020, this was a requirement that came from the state board and from our legislature that requires that we present to you the work that's being done on with our differentiated assistance and the work that we're doing also with our LCAPs specifically. So in your actual folders, you received a summary that is a template that the state of California provides for us. And technically what we're doing is we're answering kind of to 3 goals.
Not that one.
One of the goals that we have, so J3 that looks, it should look like this. And I can talk to it.
Oh, that's the other one.
It's this one. It's the annual summary report.
We have that on the computer.
It's on the computer.
It's on the computer.
All right, I'll look at it.
On the computer.
Got it.
Sorry, I didn't. We are responsible to report to you and then submit to the state of California the work that we're doing around the differentiated assistance and LCAP business. Superintendent Kofa has the responsibility to provide oversight for LCAPs as well as support to our districts who qualify for differentiated assistance through the technical assistance process. And then we also are required to provide some level of support to all of our districts. So that's what this report does. It is an annual report. You've seen it before if you've been on the board. Goal 1 really is this idea of we work very hard to help our districts produce approvable LCAPs. We support them through training, through the work that happens from January all the way through May and June, which you'll see our LCAP is coming today. So that way when it is presented to their boards, they're ready. They're good, they're approvable, and they're able to go through that. So we have all of our districts over the last several years have been able to have their LCAPs approved. If there are issues, we provide coaches. We actually provide coaches anyway, each one of our districts to help them be successful. It's a highly technical document, which I believe district across the street from us, Fresno Unified, is the reigning champ with the number of pages, if I'm right. I think it's over 500 pages. It's their LCAP, which they win in the state of California. So it's a very long LCAP. Even I think longer than Los Angeles students by. So that process there is goal 1. Goal 2 is a technical assistance specifically, either for if there were a district that couldn't improve an LCAP, we provide that support. Differentiated assistance is support for those districts who qualify based upon a full raft of qualifications that they can do to be able to have us work with them. Been doing that for many years. We're a leader in the state of California. We're an exemplar. Superintendent provides a lot of support so that districts are very satisfied with that work. So you can see some of that information that's in there. And then finally, the work that we do with all of our great deal of support, technical assistance, whether it's coaching, whether it's networks, whether it's going out and working hard by mix, which are networking communities based upon the needs that they have. We put in a great deal of work and we have a we have wonderful impact on what we're actually doing. So this is the report. It's just something you guys have received. We take this and we submit this on to the state of California with our help. Happy to answer questions if you have.
Questions? Oh, gotta take a picture there. Go ahead.
Pretty straightforward.
It's very straight up.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Greenlaw. I think you're on the next item also, right? So we'll move on to that one then. Fresno County Superintendent Schools Local Performance Indicator Report.
Correct. So this is another requirement that comes as part of the accountability process for the state of California. It's actually, I will read you just briefly again so you kind of know where we're going with this. But with the local indicators, Education Code 52064.5 requires local education agencies, us, and the LEA, to report progress to the State Board of Education local performance indicators to the California School Dashboard. These indicators address priority areas that rely on locally controlled data rather than statewide measures. The ones we actually do, as you can see, is our basic services, implementation of state academic standards, parent engagement, school climate, coordination of services for expelled youth, coordination of services for foster youth, which we are responsible for that as a county office. School districts don't do that. Those are the two unique ones for us. The other areas that we report that go right to the dashboard are things like test scores. So those are things that are actually done, suspension indicate, those types of things go on the dashboard. These local indicators are ones that we actually produce responses on a self-report survey, which is actually contained in the documents. I believe it's contained on the computer. You can see our responses that we've put together. We've met all of the requirements for the local indicator. For each one of the elements, we have the evidence of what we've been able to do. It's been fantastic work. I point to Principal Joe over there. He's done a fantastic job. Actually, not principal, sorry, director. And his team, who's done most of this work, because this is the work that he does with his work. So we've been very successful, and I'm happy to answer the questions that you may have on that as well.
Questions, comments?
Great job.
I know it's a lot of work to put these resources together, and it can be overwhelming in terms of the size and scale of the plans and reports. But I appreciate all the effort that goes into all of it, all the data collection. So from planning to data collection and then evaluation and following up. And it's just paper or screen, but it means so much more.
It's a lot. You're going to see some of the people next to actually.
Right.
Happy to answer questions.
Yeah, and Director Hammond, for your efforts and the changes that have gone in those schools to make these results occur. These are really the results as a result of the work that you and your staff are putting in.
Doing a great job. Thank you.
You saw them in the graduations this year.
Yes. And we heard it in the speech.
Yeah, that was really impressive. The size and the graduation and the articulation of the kids that come out. I was shocked. It usually it'd be just 2 or 3, and now, and that's the graduation we went to, which is 1. You have 2, basically, so it totaled out almost 20 kids, and that's like. Anyway, I'm glad you can document it, set the stage, show it, what good we're doing, because I think we can whoop competition throughout the state. I usually do.
We are leading the way. I know, my goodness.
So what we do, they can copy, and that's what we want.
Terrific. Okay, Dr. Greenlaw, don't sit down because you got to grab something else. Okay, so now we're moving on to action items. Folks, it's not even 6 o'clock yet and we're at action items. How about that?
God.
Even 6 o'clock, right?
Not even.
Okay, so we're moving on to item K1, consider approval of the updated FCSS local control accountability plan federal addendum for school year 25-26.
Tell you how we're going to move through these next few items, so you're kind of aware how we do this. We'll start with the federal addendum. Lori Lloyd, who has carried a huge burden in this work with us, and she's going to present the federal addendum. Following Lori, Joe's going to come up and present on the actual LCAP. So that's going to be the next item you'll have. So you'll be able to hear what's been happening with that, with information in your actual addendum as well. I will come back up and talk a little bit about Prop 28, and we'll end with our SIPSAs. I'll introduce them briefly, and then we have our principal, executive director for special ed. I don't know, I missed it. Special eds. They achieve. So that's kind of how this process.
All right.
So we'll
So
start with
Lori, Joe, Corey, and then
Chris and well.
Chris. Thanks.
Good evening, President Matsumoto, trustees, Superintendent Cooper, and cabinet members. My name is Lori Lloyd, and just in case you didn't know, I'm an associate director on the LCAP and compliance team. I'm very happy to be here tonight. So I'm here to provide just a brief overview of the updates to the LCAP federal addendum. The LCAP federal addendum is meant to supplement the LCAP. So whenever there's any changes in our LCAP, we want to make sure that it's being made in our federal addendum as well. It aligns our federal funding with the FCSS LCAP goals and services. And it describes how federal programs support student success. So while it was originally approved in 2019, it's not a requirement to bring it to the board each year annually unless there's been updates. And so I wanted to point out a few key updates that I enjoy hearing about. And then I will pass it over to Joe who give more details about the LCAP. So we've got a few great updates I'd love to share. We have expanded the college and career pathways with welding, horticulture, dual enrollment, and aviation class, which Joe will tell you more, and forklift certification. We've added parenting classes with regular participation from approximately 10 families. We've also added a guidance learning specialist to each site to support students during key transition points, and this is critical, including when they enroll, when they exit, and any follow-up support that they may need for 30 days after returning from their district of residence. And then additionally, we've expanded our community partners, supporting students and families. So for example, we partner with Fresno County Probation, Focus Forward, Boys and Girls Club, State Center Adult Education Consortium, and Fresno City College Rising Scholars for dual enrollment. That may not be an exhaustive list, but that gives you an idea of some of our community partners. And in closing, I'd just like to say that these updates show that we are working to strengthen our academic programs for our students, our career pathways, transition skills, and family supports for our students. Any questions? Righty.
Question. So this is an action item. So is there a motion to approve this updated report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Burton, second by Tapscott-Munson. Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto?
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott-Munson?
Yes.
Member Burton?
Yes.
Member Clyde?
Yes.
Member Robles?
Motion.
Oh,
She'll step out for a
not
comment.
present.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Okay, so consider approval of the 26-27 LCAP. Mr. Hammond.
Good afternoon, Board President Dr. Matsumoto, trustees, Superintendent Cooper, Executive Cabinet. I'm here to present to you the 2026-2027 Local Control Accountability Plan for approval. As a condition of receiving LCFF funds, Fresno County Superintendent of Schools is required to develop and adopt a plan delineating how FCSS will address the 10 state priorities using the state adopted template. You have a 2-page handout. It should look like this with a summary of our LCAP, and we will take a slide. Like mentioned before, the LCAP is a 3-year plan that describes the goals, actions, services, and expenditures, provides the annual report for the last cycle, as well as a news plan for the current cycle. This next year is going to be the 3rd year of our 3-year cycle, the 26-27 school year. It's focused on transparency, equity, and subsidiarity. The plan is developed through extensive educational partner input from staff, parents, and students, inclusion of the ongoing equity multiplier funding, which is goals 6 and 7, 6 for VHEA, goal 7 for Worsley, The equity multiplier provides additional funding to local educational agencies for allocation to school sites meeting non-stability and socioeconomically disadvantaged people thresholds in the prior year. Here's just a quick summary. This is coming off of that two-page summary sheet. Goal 1 is student engagement and school climate. Goal 2 is academic achievement and instruction. Goal 3 is family and community engagement. Goal 4 is develop youth re-engagement and transition. Goal 5 is foster homeless youth achievement. Goal 6, like I mentioned, is VHEA's equity multiplier goal, student engagement and success. And goal 7 is Worsley's graduation and multiplier also. Just a few highlights from our LCAP for the 26-27 school year. Academic intervention and student support. And this isn't by goal or action, but just some highlights. Progress monitoring and library services, student transition support, like Lori mentioned. PBIS implementation at both sites. Kind of a strong push at both sites is continuing to implement those PBIS services. Professional learning for staff, site-based academic support for staff, student technology access. We have currently one-to-one with student laptops or Chromebooks with all of our students. Parent and educational partner engagement, a new aviation CT expansion for VHEA. We're working on that right now. Study and incentive lab at Worsley. This kind of goes along with our PBIS action and developing a study and incentive lab for students at Worsley. And VHEA will have something like that to kind of go along with that continued PBIS implementation. Graduation and credit recovery support. State recognized student achievement. And one of the things that, just we're going through initial numbers right now. It looks like our graduation rate as a program is going in a positive direction. We don't have those final numbers in, but the numbers are coming in very well. Just like you mentioned, Dr. Clyde, those 10 graduates at the VHEA. I think we have a total of over 35 graduates for this school year for our students in alternative education. So it's a very, very big number. And so we're excited to see that graduation rate percentage in the fall. And also our suspension rate. We are hopeful that our suspension rate will go in the negative direction for our school sites when the dashboard numbers come out. So I'm so excited for that. That's all I have. Are there any questions?
I just want to note that you're struggling to not smile from ear to ear. So pleased with the outcomes.
Yeah.
Job well done. Thank you. Please convey that to your staff, that we are well aware of the extraordinary coordinated effort to make a difference, and that is obvious, and it's going to make a difference far into the future. We're very appreciative of your hard work.
You're doing a great job.
That's 35 students. Was that by Hines and Worsley?
Yeah,
We're still finalizing that.
I mean, that's blowing away what it was before. I mean, it's not even close. So good job.
And we had honor cords this year, which was special.
Really.
And the souls, yes, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, the graduation at VHEA was special with speeches by everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for participating in the webinar recently that I don't even know, was it ACCB? It's webinar in conjunction with the state court school group.
Yeah, always on JSAC.
Right. So, I mean, my hope is that someday we'll be able to have the data dashboard separate for our court and community schools, so that we're comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges. You can't compare them to a traditional high school. So anyhow, that's just my 2 cents. But appreciative of all your work. So this is an action item again. Is there a motion to approve this plan?
So moved.
Motion by Clyde, second. Second by Tapscott Munson. Roll call, please.
President Masamoto?
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson?
Yes.
Member Burton?
Yes.
Member Clyde?
Yes.
Member Robles?
Just not present. Absent. Thank you so much. So the consider approval of the annual proposition 28, Arts and Music in Schools report. Was that you, Dr.
It's good.
Dr. Corey, Dr.
Yeah, I
Greenlaw?
So President Masamoto, Superintendent, members of the board and cabinet, for the fifth time today, I'm excited to be here to present to you Proposition 28. This is a requirement that came about from Education Code 8820, the report on the actual spending or activities that have happened in Proposition 28, which is for arts and music in schools. So you can see that this is an opportunity that we have to be able to receive funding that is across the district. When I say the district, it's the whole LEA, which is why I present it, all of ours. And we have teachers that are working there. You have a handout that you actually have in there that shows some of the different elements that we've done at Worsley, at Violet High, including special education programs. We specifically have an art teacher that's funded through this. And share that special education program has an art teacher who travels to sites, and it's funded through Proposition 28. And then some of our preschool students are served as well through this arts program. So it's an ongoing funding that we're able to use, submit the report that's in there. It has to be approved by the board before we actually you can see how we do this. You can see we serve up to 705 students with this funding. So it's a fantastic way for us to be able to really support and champion the arts with our students, specifically in the program. I'm happy to answer questions.
Pretty simple report.
It's a very simple report. It's whatever reason the state has asked us to make putting it together. It's
No problem. It doesn't, it's not like the LA phone book was.
Get along, get enough.
Yeah.
So is it just an accident that today's Employee of the Month was from the arts program?
No, it's planned.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this report?
Second.
Motion by Clyde, second by Tapscott Munson. Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto?
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson?
Yes.
Member,
Yes.
Member Clyde?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so who's?
I start.
You start, okay. The FCSS 2027 SIPSA for county operated programs.
The board here to present to you the school plan for student achievement for each one of the schools that we have here in Fresno County schools. You'll be able to hear now from each one of our directors over these programs to talk a little bit about each one of the schools and what is actually what is presented to the state under this plan. So we'll start, I believe, with Chris. Who's going to come up with special education.
Good evening. And good afternoon, Whitney.
That's 6 o'clock.
I am here today to seek approval of the 2026-2027 Special Education School Plan for Student Achievement. This plan was presented and approved by our School Site Council on May 14th of this year. Enrollment in our TK through ATP programs reached just about 600 students this year. And if you include preschoolers, we were starting at around 650 students. And we are proud to serve students with the most extensive needs throughout Fresno County and to our 29 districts that are in our special education local planning area. To address the needs of our unique students, we're going to focus on a couple of goals this next year. We always want to improve student achievement, so we're looking to utilize and increase the use of our Teach Town curriculum. We would like to expand access and implementation of a tool called the Sandy, which is a very unique assessment tool designed specifically for students with moderate to severe disabilities. We would like to provide formal training to preschool teachers on the new Teach Town launch curriculum. And we would like to continue increasing parent engagement by offering translation services and also childcare, reducing those barriers for parents to be able to attend our events. And then two things that I think I'm most excited about next year is we have We're going to be contracting with additional school psychologists through the PPS department and planning a behavior intervention team for our ESN programs. Behavior is an area of concern that continues to emerge. So we're going to invest these dollars in getting some additional support for behavior out at our school sites and our centers. So very excited about that. And then we want to continue our work reducing chronic absenteeism. It's just something that our population struggles with. And I want to focus next year on increasing single-day independent study options. We're pretty good about, you're going to be gone for a while, we'll offer independent study, but now that we can do it a single day, we think that that might help our chronic absenteeism rate even more. So with these goals, we're going to need to purchase some curriculum, assessments, technology, additional personnel through our PPS department, and then authorize additional hours for staff for training. And these dollars assigned to these goals will help us expand our Title I budget and our CSI budget, which has increased from about 700,000 when I took this position a few years ago. Now it's about 1.5 million. So we're very grateful for those dollars. Are you have any questions that I can answer for you?
Is that in our budget that we're gonna see today?
Yeah, more than likely. It's embedded in the budget.
That's right.
There's so many things in the budget.
Well, I know that's not the only thing. I was just wondering.
Part of it.
So it's addressed. That's what I was making sure. Yeah.
Okay. Just tell me briefly, you were mentioning the single day.
Yeah, single day independent study.
Independent study, yeah.
Yes,
And does that allow us to get ADA for that?
it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it was a day that the student had a doctor's appointment, but they could do their independent study home or work,
Yes.
you could still get credit for that.
Yeah, and that's not something that we've been promoting loudly enough, so that's something I want to work on next year.
Makes a lot of sense. As long as that's great. Any other question? Is there a motion to approve this report? Motion by Clyde.
Ready?
We're gonna wait till we hear all of them.
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's three, yeah.
Thank you.
Such a good report, you were ready to sign on the.
I'm ready.
I was ready.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
But I don't want to
Strike that.
That's right. I don't want to show, he's done put a lot of work in this guy.
I know. My apologies.
Okay, good evening once again. I'm here to recommend the 26-27 school plans for student achievement for Hines Education Academy and Allison Wortham School for approval. Our schools use the school plan for student achievements, the SIPSAs, to guide how we spend federal funding, particularly Title I CSI funds, to improve student outcomes based on data-driven needs assessment. Our schools develop measurable goals and action plans aligned with our LCAP, as well as our WASC action plan. Just to remind you, we did get a 6-year accreditation for WASC about 5 years ago. And so our next visit is, I believe, November of 2028. So we've already started to work on developing those WASC teams and getting ready for that visit. But our LCAP, SIPSAs, and WASC action plan all speak to each other and kind of, they're designed that way. And so many of the goals and actions are aligned with some of the implementations. The plan is reviewed and approved by the school site council and the Board of Education, obviously, ensuring educational partner input and alignment with state and federal requirements. Funds are used to implement evidence-based strategies that supplement existing resources, and progress is monitored and updated annually. These strategies include contracted tutoring services on school campuses, instructional coaching and support provided by content specialists on both of our campuses, targeted math and English language arts intervention, parent and family engagement workshops offered throughout the school year. This last year we offered, I believe it was 2 workshops per month with varied topics. Transition services designed to support students as they successfully move between educational settings and prepare for post-secondary education, career, or community opportunities. The transition support is really a new support that was implemented about 2 years ago. Like I said about our graduation rate, it's really, we're focused on our graduation rate and CCI and suspension rate, attendance. But ultimately, our goal is not just graduation rate, but transition of our students and just that soft handoff to other districts or community college or the workforce. And, our staff has done a great job of monitoring every single student that leaves our facilities, both at VHA, but more in particular at Worsley, just because of the constant, transition, right, of students in and out. And so really a big focus there. And we feel like, not only are we hopeful to see some numbers get go in a positive direction, but really the impact that it's making on our students, we're hopeful that, they're going to land somewhere, they're going to get interested, they're interested in welding or forklift driving or community college, or interested in going back to their home high school to get into art class or to get into different pathways. And so a lot of the work that's happening with this plan, with all of our plans is, we have a staff that's very invested and hopeful that, a lot of success stories, as you can imagine. But yeah, that's our system for both of our sites.
All I can say is hallelujah, because how far down out do you think you can follow these kids? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, any idea?
Well, I think we can follow them at least. I mean, right now we have a very good list of where our last July students have landed. So they left our facility. So right now we're tracking for a full year, and that's new tracking. It's basically been happening for about a year and a half. But I think we can. I think we can track.
That's something I've been pushing for 30 years. I've been on board, trying to follow these kids once they get out of your program. So-and-so went to this college, that college, you get all that. That's fine. I was interested into a year later.
Right.
Are they back as full sophomore? Are they prepared? Did they survive that first year out there and move forward? That's the key. That's really the key.
I think we can really evolve our tracking system. We've developed it and we know it's working. Every month, our percentage goes up of where our students landed, right, in a positive direction. And so, I think we can expand it.
Get a model that the general population throughout the 200-something thousand kids can easily follow by staff. That'd be huge. It's interesting that it would come out of Worsley and Five Nines. So, thank you.
Just one quick question. Always doing a fantastic job. It just keeps getting better and better, and I'm so excited for our students in Fresno County. What is the age limit for our students to attend Violent Heights?
It's basically high school students, through 12th grade.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Great.
Now I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. Make a motion on both of them.
To approve the SIPSA.
Right.
For 2026, not 2065, 2026 through 2027. Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, that looks like a typo.
Second by Burton. Motion Clyde, second by Burton. Roll call, sorry.
You said motion Clyde, second
Burton.
President Masimoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Hang in
Motion
there.
carries.
Hang in there.
Yay, okay, moving on to business services. Mr. Otto, we're there.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, President Masimoto and board members.
We're talking about forest reserves.
Yes, the first item I have is the second distribution of forest reserve receipts for 25-26 school year. We look back and we've never received 2 distributions from the forest reserve. I don't know if you remember last month, we brought to you $350,000. This month, we're bringing $561,000 for a total of $911,000. The breakout of where the money is going to go is included in your packet. Kings Canyon, Sierra, and Sanger will get some of the money along with the county superintendents of schools.
U.S. federal offset, what was that? Can you explain what that is? That's nothing, but I just wondered, what was that supposed to be?
I don't know, that's probably on the remittance advice at some point, so we left it on there as a description.
Back when Obama started that?
Yeah, I don't, probably.
I'll bet that's what it is, and a delayed, and then it would be a small amount delivered later. But it
Right.
sounds like that's taken off, yeah, okay, all right. But anyway, that's, and the Forest Service gets a chunk, not of this money, but they got it beforehand. And they've been stacking that money up and haven't dispersed it. And now, the last, 3 weeks ago, I had them check it and see what our dollars, 850,000. And then now with this, it should be up to $1 million. That's what I'm thinking of.
Like I said, we look back and we've never received.
Never received 2 of them. And what's interesting too on this forest thing, as a committee that's approved by Congress, not Congress, but Washington. 25, only 25% of the counties in the West are on that. They don't even, they go through the trouble to set up a committee. You set up the committee, get it all approved, that takes months. Look at the kind of money you get. It's 75% goes through that. Anyway, you guys all know about how we got that, so I'm not gonna go through that again.
Okay, any further questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? I'll second it, okay. Motion Clyde, second Masamoto.
You told me to stop saying.
Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott-Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Rowland.
Motion carries. Okay, consider approval of 25-26 budget revisions.
Again, President Masamoto and members of the board, here seeking approval of the 2025-2026 budget revisions. So these are the final revisions for this fiscal year. We won't change the budget anymore. It'll just be working on the actuals and getting the books closed out at the end of the month. So the changes you see in B and C are since second interim back in February. So as you can see, some revenue went up, some revenue went down. Expenditures, we kind of cleaned it up as well. If you go to the next page, it shows the overall projected surplus or deficit, components of projected ending balance, and then the unappropriated balance. As you can see, our unappropriated amount went from 11% to 20%. So we, like I said, we cleaned up the budget a little bit since February. And item G are the other funds, which include deferred maintenance, child development, adult education, CTEC High School, and retiree benefit fund. I don't know why my voice sounds like.
I think a lot of people saw. What? Okay, so where are we gonna end up here on our reserves? Are you saying our reserves? How'd you get the other 10%?
So if you look at, the revenues went up by 19 million and expenditures only went up by 5.
Oh, so that's
in the
why.
budget cleanup.
Right.
And
Okay.
keep in mind that our projecting balance of 113 million is probably a little bit low because there are still budgets that have money in there that are gonna go unspent, some funds that were, departments are allowed to budget for.
Right. So you think this 20.22% might go up a tad?
It depends on where those monies are in the restricted or unrestricted.
Gotcha. And then, okay, so, but you're still leaving that, was it 20% per department, or was that 10%, whatever that, to let them carry over?
Those are just the general fund department.
Right.
The unrestricted,
But,
yes.
but that whole concept hasn't changed.
No.
That's all. That's fine.
Other questions?
Where are we at with CTEC? Where we were this year in terms of what enrollment is getting?
I wish I don't have that information with me, but it was presented at the CTEC board meeting on June 9th. So I can get that for you and we can send that.
I think it was because I remember us talking extensively last time around about where the board would be at in terms of our investment in this.
I do know that I think John has 119 kids coming in next year. And we graduated 58 this year. So there'll definitely be an uptake, but we did have to hire a couple of teachers to offset that. And we're having to look at classroom space as well.
Do we anticipate about the same amount?
I think once we get all of the grants budgeted and, we know what we're gonna get for CTAG and TTAG and some of the workforce grants, we might end up a little better than last year. And then we have one more year of a smaller class to pick up the following year.
To jump ahead then to the next item, are we budgeting the same amount that augment UC-Tech as we did this report? Or do you think? It was only 100.
I do not have that number in the back of my head. I don't know if.
Yeah. So up front, we have the expenses of the additional staff, but yes, it should even out. We ended the year with 319 students, and we're starting with 395 students, and we have about 15 on a wait list, which are possibly going to get approved. Yeah.
Finally, we got
395 students is what we're going to start with.
Okay, so, I mean, it was 134,000, I think, short.
Yes.
But we don't know if we have to do that. I doubt if he keeps these numbers, I doubt it, unless he expends more money.
I don't think right now we know all of the grant dollars that are going to come in for next year. But right. So at first interim, we'll have a really good idea of what we're going to expect for those dollars that come in, which actually offset the general fund contribution.
Well, if you look at we can talk about it at the next one, but
yeah,
I think their expected revenue is 7.47 million. And their expected expenditures are 7.46. It's like $10,000.
Yeah, and I mean, but when they say revenues, where did that revenue come? Did it come, question better, did any of that come from us?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Okay.
Because again, we don't know the exact amount of the grant dollars that are going to come in. And for sure, if we're going to get those dollars, I mean, we don't budget soft money. I mean, that's just the approach that we've taken.
No, I get that. So, yeah, but you have to have a backup to put it in to make it balance.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing.
100%.
But we don't really know on this one we're looking at, 25, 26, the 7.6 revenue, was that all generated from within CTAG, or how much of that did we? I thought it wasn't very much.
I don't have that number off the top of my head.
But I bet it wasn't very much. But there's no way of knowing by looking at this.
No.
Right.
So, and it's the same issue for the 26, 27 budget, because it's put in the same format. We really don't have any idea how much we're, augmenting them.
I mean, I don't have.
Logic tells me that they're getting pretty close, if they've got those enrollment numbers. As long as he doesn't.
And the grant dollars.
And the grant dollars.
Yes.
No, yeah, you could say that about any department.
Well, we're right, but I mean, those grant dollars were there this year, and then, like I said, we don't budget soft money. We need to know how much we're gonna get for those areas.
Otherwise, he'd come in with a negative budget proposal if you didn't show an augment. But I'm kind of wondering, in the end, he probably got pretty close for 25, 26. Is there any way of knowing that? And I don't want to take more time to do that tonight, Trevor.
Okay.
I just was wondering that as for his budgeting for 26, 27, I want him to get over the hump is what I want to get, so we can say it's self-supporting. That's what I want to say. Because we're trying to sell this program to other districts, and we can't sell if it's a financial loser. That's what I'm getting at.
It's an investment.
So are you asking for a report next month, that specific item?
Yeah, just kind of a little bit of a breakdown on CTAC compared to the 25, 26 versus 26, 27.
Yeah, I can tell you there is a general fund contribution for both years in there.
Right.
I just don't know the dollar.
Okay, but.
So in the total, so next year, next month, report to us what their total budget is and what, of both years, and what portion was from augmented by.
Right. Well, we already know what their total budget is. It's
Right, portion.
right. Yeah, I would just show it's not a big ask. It's just fine. Let him know we're watching him.
As if you didn't. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Motion by Clyde, second by Robles. Call, please.
President Massimo.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Klein.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Yes.
Motion approved. Consider approval of 26-27 FCSS proposed budget.
Yes, thank you once again, President Masamoto here seeking approval of the 2026, 2027 Fresno County Superintendent of Schools proposed budget. I have my normal slideshow presentation that we'll go through. Oh, the clicker's working. First slide shows the general fund ending balance history. We've included the 25-26 actuals, which you just approved on the final budget. And then the 2026-2027 proposed budget. You can see that the drop off from 24-25, those are actuals from 24-25. Keep in mind the budget, there's budgeted numbers for 25-26, 26-27. So as you can see, the trend is going up. I think it's going to taper off a little bit. You know, when the actuals come in, I think we're going to be about where we were at. It might go up a little bit because we do allow departments to budget a lot of their carryover in certain areas. Some of the grants, not so much. They budget the full amount and they spend the full amount. The next slide shows the revenue versus the expenditures. And from what I was just talking about, you can see the 26-27, the expenditure side is a little bit higher than the revenue side. Again, allowing departments to budget some of that carryover, or we're waiting for the carryover to be posted to those departments once we finish closing out the books for 25-26.
So real quick, that's what it looked like last time around, flipped, and then we fixed.
Correct. So when the actuals hit, it's going to look more like 22-23, 22-24, and 24-25. I mean, we're in the business of educating children. You know, sometimes we get in a situation like we did in 24-25 when Trina got like $16 million grant in June and they sent us all the money up front. That's going to inflate our ending fund balance because we're spending down those dollars the next 3 years.
But you can't, yeah, but you have to carry it on your balance.
100%, yes.
So that skews it like crazy.
Right. And that's cash that we received. If it was just we got a grant, we wouldn't have to record it on our books. We could put it in the budget for the following years.
But I just noticed that we're almost 270 million, almost.
Yeah. Starting the year.
Starting the year, yeah. And this starting of the year last year, we were at 240.
Yeah, we grow every year.
We grew 30 million.
Add grants, yes.
Yeah, but okay, on the ending of last year, we don't really know exactly where we ended last year. We're this at the moment. I should have looked at that.
I do not have that.
So, I don't think we had 400. Did we?
No.
Mid
threes, probably.
Mid 350. Okay. That would be interesting to know when you find out. Because that's money that she has to actually work with. Right. Even if it's passed through, you still got to handle it.
The next chart shows our budgeted revenue. Give my normal spiel about how most of our funds at the county office are targeted versus non-targeted. Next chart shows the components of budgeted revenue. Again, very small portion LCFF dollars, which if this was a school district's pie chart, it would be the opposite. 75% would be LCFF, the other would be restricted. So local, state, federal, you have a large amount of local revenue that's restricted. Our mental health dollars that come from the county of Fresno, that's local money. It's not from the state or the federal government, but yet it's local money, but it's restricted. We have to spend it on those programs and those services.
How much are we getting a year now still? Is it 25, 30? Somewhere in there.
I don't think it's gone up tremendously, so probably in the same ballpark.
I think it was 25.
Yeah, maybe up a little bit. I know we went to a fee-for-service model, so it's not a contractual amount year by year like our first 5 years was.
Oh. Do you think but you think it might have gone up, or do we get hurt by that?
I mean, costs have gone up, so I think we're recouping more dollars because we're getting more efficient at the billable hours. So,
but we're past the $125 million deal.
Well, yes, the 5 year deal. Yeah, we're in the 8th year of that program.
Yeah, so that. Okay. All right.
Sorry, Marcy. The next shows budget revenue detail by area at the county superintendent schools, court schools, special projects, safe and healthy kids, migrant, Fiber High, career tech ed, special ed SELPA, and some other smaller amounts. So you can see special ed SELPA, Department of Safe and Healthy Kids, that's $150 million of our budget. Two very, very large areas at the county superintendent of schools.
Retiree stuff and all, that's staying flatlined. That's interesting. Over the 2 years.
The next chart shows the expense side, which normally your expenditures are going to follow your revenues. Most of our expenses are targeted, just like our revenue is targeted. Next one shows the components of our budget expense, how much we spend in salaries, books and supplies, other services, capital outlay. We're not as heavy in salaries as the school district is because we have a lot of dollars that pass through, which comes out of a 5,000 object, which is the other services and operating, the 74 million.
Quick question, do we ever separate it by restricted and unrestricted? Because this is including both, right? The 269 million is both. But have we ever done it where we compare like how much is like we pay in these areas with restricted versus unrestricted?
I've never shown that on a chart.
Oh, okay. But you have it.
Oh, 100%, yes. Yeah.
You've done percents.
But I'm just interested to see like how much of it comes out of restricted versus unrestricted.
So it's very interesting. We got into a discussion with some of our labor partners a couple of years ago. They brought us this information and said, you're not spending enough on salaries and benefits like a school district. And I said, we're not a school district. I explained to you all the programs that we have. So I pulled just special ed's salaries and benefits compared to the total budget. It was the same percentage as a school district. I said, this is our school, so here's your comparison. You can't compare our Department of Safe and Healthy Kids. A lot of our programs are contracted with, teaching fellows, because they're providing that service to those programs, which it's amazing because they get college kids that are going to be teachers and, teach them how to teach in the classroom at an early age while they're going to Fresno State. But so back to my point, I was comparing a school to a school, and I don't know if the light went on because, anyway, I tried to give them the best comparison.
Well, I'm glad you did that because we really are, especially to talk about class sizes and different things and how much it costs us per kid. I mean, we spend, I think, a lot more than most schools.
And this was a few years ago, back when the economy wasn't as good, and I think 88% or 87% salaries and benefits in our special ed program.
That's not bad. I mean, that's, but
that was good.
I mean, that's a lot.
It was just an interesting comparison that I finally showed them because they were kind of honing in on this. It's like, you guys spend too much money in other services, books and supplies. It's like, well, we're not a school district, which 85% of their budget salaries and benefits. Because
and there were bad years where it was in the low 90s.
Oh yeah, we had a revenue limit deficit. It was 95%. Next chart shows the budgeted expense detail for the targeted areas by area. Again, you can see special ed SELPA, Department of Safe and Healthy Kids, two biggest areas, and budget expense detail for non-targeted shows where those expenses are as far as the unrestricted side. And that's the last one.
Great. And you've got all the details following that.
Yeah, there's 150 pages of the SACS report.
So we're not going to go through every page of that.
That's what this summarizes.
This month, and you've got it this month. Any further questions?
No, but I'm glad you go through all the code because focusing in budget is our main job, of our 5 main things. And I'm glad that you break that out pretty easy to follow. And actually, last year versus this year, it looks, going up some, but it's pretty clean.
And the state budget looks pretty good.
That was my next question.
They signed a kind of a shell budget because I think they're still working out a lot of details. But if it goes through like it was back in May, the 4.31% COLA, record dollars going into special education, like a 43% increase, a block grant for $1,000 per ADA, which won't benefit us, but it'll benefit school districts who contract with us for professional development. On the special ed side, if you think about an increase in special ed, that helps us, but it also helps the school district so it doesn't encroach into their general fund as much. Again, gives them more money to contract with us for professional development and services that we provide. So,
if that 4.3 plus COLA stays there, I'll be surprised.
I think it will stay there because of the 14-week paid pregnancy leave. I think will come along with it, which I'm not against that leave at all. I just don't like the mechanism that they're using to say they're paying for it or how to pay for it. But you know what? It's a good thing for soon-to-be moms, and can't argue with that. But just it opens up the opportunity for them to put more stuff into LCFF that's not for the students and the teachers directly, because that's what LCFF dollars for. They're generated by the kid, for classroom, for teaching, for books and supplies, for all the things that come with that.
Well, I'll still be surprised if that stays.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll know in a couple of weeks, I guess.
I was also wondering, is there anywhere in this budget included like information about what we do with our unrestricted like dollars throughout the year? Like what are the type of projects that we're funded, things like that?
A lot of the unrestricted dollars go to support departments like finance, personnel, legal, credentials. There are several departments that you need to run an organization. And that's where the unrestricted dollars, the superintendent, Dr. Lira's department, has a department where general fund dollars come in. A lot of areas like that.
Actually, things restricted and all these programs happen because of those dollars, but we need the support to help make those programs.
Somebody's got to run payroll, somebody's got to pay the bills.
Budget.
Right.
Give you a quick example. Across the street, the county's they think it'll be a $5.8 billion budget. You know how much money is unrestricted? About $400 million. And that's it. And they expect a $20 million hit out of the government on that. So that's where it hurts, is that unrestricted. If that gets hit, that's where you feel it.
Well, and I think for us, why I wanted to point that out is because, a lot of times in the public, we get questions of like, what does the county superintendent of schools do, right? But like a lot of the funding is restricted and it's intentional for specific projects, and what we have in terms of discretionary funds, it's to support those, right? So it's just good for the public to know.
Right. I mean, we don't have grants to pay for the upkeep of this building that Jeff does a tremendous job on. And we don't have, a grant to pay for the electricity for this building. All of the stuff that is not tied to a grant is supported by those general fund dollars, those unrestricted dollars. That when we get mainly two pools, we get a little bit of LCFF dollars because we get an amount per ADA, we get an amount per district in the county, and then we get like a block grant. And then we also generate what's called indirect from grant. When you write a grant, there's an indirect charge that you can write into the grant. That money comes in as unrestricted dollars to us as well.
Was that only like 3 to 5%?
Yeah, sometimes it's 7, but we take the maximum when we can. But that definitely helps as well.
And we as a county cannot do a bond.
No.
Schools can, but we can't. So that's another thing to factor. We have to advance plan and basically take away money for future stuff.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion to approve this budget?
So moved.
Motion by Clyde, second by Robles. Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott-Muntz.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, I would like to stand. I know we're going to move for facilities and operations. We're moving on, but let's just take a stretch break, okay? We'll take a 2-minute stretch break.
Good idea.
Everybody.
It's a long time in my room.
I know.
It's
a long time.
Sorry, I can go use my restroom.
Yours?
Maybe 3 minutes then. We're taking a recess. It's 3 minutes.
Commissioner back on?
Yes, yes, they don't want to. The AC turned off. For real. For real. Yeah. We're gonna reconvene. Since Mr. Becker has not arrived yet, we're gonna go on to item number 10. Consider approval of board project. Did you want to do an intro?
Just a brief one, and that is that this is an exciting opportunity every year. We really wrap our arms around a project or two, and you have 5 as presented. You had all the material last month to ponder. And a reminder, we have about $20,000 budgeted for board projects this year, and I'll entertain discussion and do my best to support your decisions.
I thought I brought a breakdown, if anybody wanted to have a breakdown. Well, on the project that I submitted for Delray Elementary, the budget wasn't broken down, but I do have it. I just don't know where I put it, if you want to know.
Well, you mean the Pee-wee?
Yeah, I do Pee-wee.
Well, I mean,
It's anyhow.
you're asking for
It's,
5.
I know it's 3,500 is for the field trip, the bus, to the university. Total's $5,000, the rest is materials, supplies, and.
How many times have we done this sweet potato thing?
We've done them once, but we've got a total of 30 on plate right here. So we have 20 to spend, so we have to make some decisions. We've helped them once before.
Okay, so would it be a big stretch to drop the sweet potatoes and fund the rest? You only got 20 grand, right?
Right.
I'd like to know a little bit more, about number 3, the fellowship program. If I read it correctly, it sounded like the monies would go towards the celebration or a scholarship. But tell me more.
They're trying to do a celebration in which they would present the scholarships to the recipients. So these would go towards those scholarships. But I think overall, obviously $5,000 is not going to pay for their whole program. So they're compiling donations so that they could offer scholarships. $5,000 wouldn't be enough for all the scholarships as well, depending on what they're going to do for students.
And the people being acknowledged for fellowships are college students?
Correct.
Working in any of the areas that.
CBOs. Correct, yeah. And they would have to go through they have to submit essays, they have to do, proof of hours. So it's pretty expensive in terms of qualifying to graduate from the program and then being able to get a scholarship.
And
so the scholarship is for the program, or the scholarship is for their college studies?
College studies.
What kind of money? You know?
I don't know, because I don't know if it mentions how big the cohort is for this, but I would assume it would be divided by the amount of students.
I still don't have any problem with scholarships.
Well, they're internships, and so if you look at them, so if you had this listed, I went and kind of looked at what cohort 16 is, and for 300 hours of service that's certified, it's $5,000, and for 150 hours, it's $2,500 that they compensate them for their.
That's for the fellowships, but she's saying that a portion of these monies might go to college scholarships, not to pay for the fellowship. That's what
Well, no, the
am I
fellowship
understanding
is
that
not
correctly?
paid. It's not like, it's not paid. They receive a scholarship for participating in the fellowship.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I misunderstood. So I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah, so they
Thank you for
participate in the
asking.
cohort, and based upon the number of hours that they participate, they can
earn-
receive a scholarship to support their schooling.
I see.
And I think it'd be nice to see, next year, once they report, what were the nonprofits they served and what did the 300 hours consist of? And I think it's nice to kind of see our dollars multiplied in that way of community service.
You need a motion?
Okay, sure, you're ready.
I'll vote for 1 through 4.
To fully fund 1 through 4?
Right.
Is there a second?
Second. With discussion, is there any way that we might be able to find some funding to assist the sweet potato program?
So I'm a huge fan of Yolanda Randall's and a huge fan of her programs, all of which, including the Sweet Potato Project. It is a large program. I'm going to guess it has to have an operating budget of about $1 million, right?
Well, I don't know what's going on right now with the issue with funding. I know they're in the Bitwise building. They've got all their employees now in one location because they had to vacate the community building
There's a
that
lot
was
of
in Southwest Fresno. So they're all finally all in one place.
Yeah.
And they've been basically just trying to recoup their program.
Well, I will tell you, as I said, I'm a very big fan. I've spoken with her several times in the last 1 year, but I will circle back. You have my word, I will circle back.
Thank you.
Well, and maybe that's a topic that if we want to address it next month or at another time about the monies that weren't spent with the project last year.
Oh,
I don't
we
know
need
if that's
to
a
discuss that
possibility.
Anyway, about having them come back into our fund from general.
I think right now you have a motion and
Yeah,
a
we have-
second.
Right, we need to discuss, right. Well, I did, but it was
Yeah.
response to your question, so.
And actually, you have a motion and a second.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, call for vote.
President Masimoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Woodford.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Motion
Never
carries. So we have 4 projects for next year.
And then we could revisit that funding, but don't we need to request it to come back from general back into our budget?
The funding is back at general, and during Dr. Kofer's time that she was away, at that time I made the decision in her place that we can give it a try to fund whatever it is that the board decided, meaning the fund gets removed back from general fund, back to the board, but the board has to decide if it's going to go to that project, being a responsible adult that's going to fulfill it, or if not, wherever else that you decide to allocate it, but those funds are there.
How much was it?
3,800. So I guess my thoughts are, if this board or any of you want to submit a proposal for that 3,800, so I'd like to see it in writing, the proposal, whether it's the same organization, but with an entity and an adult.
With an amendment.
With that.
Amend them to the proposal with the requirements we're putting in place.
Right, addressing the proposal the form that we have, knowing that it is a nonprofit.
Yes.
And we need to have the entity, the administrator or whomever of the nonprofit entity be the recipient as opposed to a student. So that's just what I'm recommending. If any of you want to, if you want to submit that one, if you want to submit 3,800 for the sweet potato project, or I don't want to do a whole new
Right, yeah, so I
routine,
think
but
it's best to reach out to Current and see if give her 30 days next board meeting to respond back to us, to let us know if they can come into compliance to receive the project funding, and within 30 days, and if we don't have an answer by next board meeting, then we can ease on down the road.
Yeah, and we could try. My understanding is that most of the students have already moved on. They're no longer a part of that group or that university, which means that maybe the time has passed. Yeah.
Funds won't be utilized properly.
No.
Okay.
so the other choice is to keep that 3,800 in the pot for next year. Yeah.
Or we can allocate it to the sweet potato project.
Well, you could, but yeah, but we would need I would like to see a proposal for that, what that $3,800 would do. Sure. Okay. Anything else on board projects? I would love the board project committee to take a look for the next year's cycle, to take a look at the application, to take a look at strengthening the guidelines to share with us for approval of what that board project is? I mean, how we define it. We've been pretty loose. You know, like it needs to be an adult. It needs to
I
be a
think we shored it
nonprofit,
up as
you know.
well as we can as we're moving along.
If is the form okay, but at least just to consider, look at the form, is the
Yeah.
form does it include everything we want it to include or not? So that next go round, we are confident in what we are proposing to do. And the timeline that we have to take a look at that together with the superintendent or with the deputy superintendent. Okay, closed session.
Nope.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Becker, for coming back. Thank you for keeping me in line. We're now on item J, right? That was J, no, K.
8.
K number 8. Consider certification of comprehensive facilities master plan.
Good evening,
Thank you.
President. Members. Sorry to make you move backwards on the agenda after a long meeting. This item is seeking your certification of the comprehensive facilities maintenance plan. This is a document that we prepare each year and bring to you in June along with the budget. It's a requirement of our participation in the school facility program, the state school bond program. Education Code Section 17070.75 requires us to set aside money and have a plan in place to manage the maintenance of our buildings. So our plan, which you have in narrative form in your packet, really consists of 3 main components. One is how we identify projects. We do 2 things. The main is using our facility inspection tool, which is the same tool that Williams folks use for their inspections of facilities. We take the data gathered when we go to every one of our school sites, including our integrated special education sites, and we log that data in our work request system and or set aside for more major projects that are more than just a simple work order to prepare. We also have via spreadsheet track our asset system life cycles so that we know when a building system may be coming to its end of its useful life and it's time to simply replace it. So those are the projects that we identify and the tools that we use to identify them. We fund them with 2 components. One is routine restricted maintenance. And again, that funding is a requirement of our participation in the school facility program. We set aside 3% of our unrestricted general fund. We're pretty well versed on that now. And that goes and is set aside for routine restricted maintenance. That covers preventative maintenance, just servicing our HVAC, making the minor repairs as they come along, maintaining your fire systems. That's all a routine restricted maintenance component. The other component that we used to fund, even though the categorical fund that used to come to us and is now rolled into the local control funding formula, is a deferred maintenance fund. So instead of having the categorical come to us, Mr. Otto and folks in the finance team, along with Superintendent Cofer, evaluate, do we need to make a contribution to the deferred maintenance fund for projects? And those projects are more major system replacements. So instead of changing the filters and belts in your air conditioner, maybe it's time to buy a new air conditioner. So the buying the entire system would be a deferred maintenance project. So that is how we maintain our system. Just as a little bit of context for you, we're anticipating ending the year with about $2.5 million of routine restricted funds available to us and about $6.5 million of deferred maintenance funds available to us. Looking out over the next 5 years, just based on life cycles of systems, we have about $5 million of routine replacements of building systems. So I think that we're well positioned to meet our maintenance needs, and I'm happy to answer any questions as you consider certification of this plan.
So you said 2.5 and 8 or?
And about 6.5.
6.5, 2.5 and 6.5. So that's why I got the 8,
yeah,
8 or 9.
The low rate.
Yeah, but that's when you anticipate 5 million in repairs.
Yeah, over the next 5 years.
But you haven't amortized and inflated that repair cost. So it may take 9 to fix what's today's dollar of 5 million.
Our spreadsheet actually does.
Oh, really?
It's maybe not in the big swings that we see happen sometimes with construction costs, but we do raise it about 3 or 4% every year as it goes out.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Yeah, okay. And that's where your 5 million is, that's where that's built from.
Yes, so,
Is on the real cost plus inflated.
yes.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Any further discussion, questions? Their motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Burton, second by Clyde. Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto,
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burke.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Motion carries. Next item, consider approval of board construction services agreement to lowest responsible bidder for the playground improvements at Monte Vista, Raymaker, and Sutherland. Project 2026-18. Mr. Becker.
Possibility coming around to you is a printer. As you recall, at the January board, the board authorized 16 bids for our playground improvement project at our special education sites at Beth Raymaker, Sutherland School, and Monte Vista. On May 22nd, we issued a notice inviting bids, and 4 bids were received on June 15th. You see those bids before you, and 3 of those bids received, the bottom 3, were significantly over the budget. Each of those is at least $100,000 or 10% over the budget that we have for this project. And the low bid, the contractor came to us and indicated that they failed to incorporate a portion of the scope of the project in that number and requested to withdraw their bid. So with this action today, instead of awarding a bid, I'm asking the board to consider rejecting all of the bids and authorizing rebidding this project. If you take that action, we would come back to you in July and we would run a new notice to bidders and bring you new bid results, a clean slate bid at the July meeting to award the project.
So the company highlighted on the top, their bid was incomplete or inaccurate.
Essentially,
What
their
you're
bid
saying,
was
they're
not
withdrawing.
complete scope.
Why it's so much?
Interesting.
That's what it's.
But the other 3 understood the scope of the bid, but he didn't. Heritage didn't.
But the other 3 came in over budget, so
We didn't budget this point.
we need this bid to be around $950,000.
Heritage Rudy.
Okay, there's a motion made to reject all bids. Is there a second?
Second.
Real quick, how much does it cost to do a new bid?
The main cost is, well, time, and then the cost of the advertisement's about $1,500. Okay. It's not so.
Maybe there's some starvation.
And I kind of feel that now that the other contractors all know the numbers, sharpen pencils.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now we move to closed session again. So we'll ask everyone not related to this topic Okay, we are back to open session. Are there any travel, on item M1, trustee activities, any travel requests? I hear none. Okay, moving on to M2, travel expenses and reimbursement. Consider approval of reimbursement for CSBA Delegate Assembly, May 15th, 16th for Dr. Marcy Masamoto. I can't pronounce her name. For $337.35.
Second.
Motion by Robles, second by Clyde. Roll call, please.
President Masumoto?
Yeah, I can vote, sure, yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson?
Yes.
Member Burton? Yes. Member Clyde? Yes. Member Robles?
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Receipt of correspondence. That was the only reimbursement request, correct? Yes. Angela, thank you. Receipt of correspondence, is there correspondence? I did receive
Just real quick, travel requests, how are we doing on our trip? Don't give me the dirty CSBA.
It's me looking over my glasses, madam.
CSBA, because I'm getting ready to bring up San Diego. That's why I'm giving you a free. How are we doing with reservations for CSBA? It's
Ready to block 4 rooms, but the way that it works is they want to know your top 3. Theirs are $300 versus $1,000. It's a big difference. But they've already swapped yours, so the reservations that we made weren't paid, they were reserved. So that was a good thing. So even though it's expensive, but I have a feeling now they're gonna, when the 14th opens, July 14th is when the blocks of rooms are released from all the LEAs everywhere. And I'll definitely come back and email you all, but I think it's gonna work itself out where we're not stuck with that, with the large hotel cost.
Yeah, it seems.
And I'll be revising it. So, but right now they've already submitted one for Marcy. So that was nice.
Yeah, and CSBA.
But all your travel's done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, I'm trying to make sure that I'm ready for when they do release those spreads.
We're gonna be sitting there waiting for the 14th, on the
That's what we did that morning.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. Okay, so, appreciate it. Any other travel-related conversation? Okay, receipt of correspondence in your packet. You've got a letter that I received about the nominations for the Fresno County Committee on School District Organization. This is the committee that addresses issues when boundaries are being proposed to be changed from one district to another by an entity and a district. Exactly. Not so super operative, they say.
It's amazing how many meetings.
Not many, apparently. But unless there's an issue, and then there are some. So there are 2 seats open representing District 1. These are the same districts as our districts, right? So, and 1 seat representing District 5. In your packet, you can see that there are 2 applications so far, 1 for District 1 and 1 for District 5. And the nominations are open until August 7th. So if any of you are interested in nominating or having our board nominate anyone, if I'm understanding this correctly?
We're just checking to clarify this. Who did you receive the letter from? Because we believe we have 1 vacancy on the Fresno County Committee, and it is to replace Barbara Thomas, and we are actively trying to find that appointee. That is our letterhead, so I'm confused by that.
This letter, this is from the Trustees Association, on your letterhead.
She represented District 3, and I'm working with Benjamin and Daniel to seek frankly, a representative that is interested. And so the intel that you've shared about District, 1 and 5 is different than what we understand. So
this might be
Okay.
It's not.
Oh, this is totally different. It's so confusing. My apologies. This is the county committee for the association. That's totally different. My apologies.
This is all district organizations.
Trustees Association nominations for county committee district organization. So the trustees association, if I'm reading this correctly, the trustees association is asking if there are further nominations for either of these seats.
So it looks like they've increased it. Now there's 2 seats for District 1.
That's right.
Okay, this
I believe both, well, no, Connie is not currently on because she's new. But I know Daniel is currently on that board. It must, I'm guessing this is a
Connie's on there too.
So now there's
a
3
re-election
seats
or that they have.
Connie's on it too?
Oh, so these are additional.
She's
Well, why
area
did she
5.
submit this stuff?
Okay,
You guys
there are
never seen
2
it.
seats available on District 1, 1 seat available on District 5. We have nominations already for 1 in District 1 and 1 in District 5.
And she is, because she says here, I wish to continue.
So both of these people have been on the committee that I thought she wasn't on.
Yeah. I definitely think she's way qualified.
Well,
have you read this?
It's very impressive.
And when you talk to her, and you never know that. Yeah, and
I don't think we vote on this. And we don't have a rep either when we do our.
She's just saying that she got the.
It's, if I'm reading this correctly, they're asking for if we want to submit another nomination.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, if there's additional nominations.
We have the right to nominate
District 1 is your district, so it's normally nominated by the trustee from District 1, but could be nominated by a trustee from outside of District 1.
Right.
According to the case.
Okay, so please take advantage of this opportunity to participate in recommending a qualified individual to serve on this important committee. A completed recommendation or nomination biographical success shall be received no later than August 7th. So I'm just sharing this with all of you. If any of you want to nominate
Somebody.
so the Trustees Association requesting your district school board's assistance in the search for a nominee.
Very good. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, so if you have anybody,
other than what's already in there.
I believe, right, other than what's already in here, then I believe the board needs to approve these nominations, or they're just submitted?
Submit them all.
You decide, oh, there's an election.
There's an election at the
There'll be a
October
vote
meeting.
from the floor.
I used to be on that
For
committee.
nominations.
Just submitted.
Yeah.
And then there's a committee.
So read this, if you have a nomination, and if you think it needs to come to this board, we need to have it before our next pre-board meeting.
I don't think we've ever done nominations or taken action on a nomination for a trustee association or for a county committee member.
You did what I did. That was a long time ago. That would be.
And then also, there is no voting member on the county committee for our board.
Yes, correct. Okay.
So you may be able to nominate somebody individually,
won't vote.
maybe. I don't know what their bylaws say.
I don't see why
Well, Connie
anybody here.
self-nominated on hers, but she's just a re-up.
Yeah.
But there's none of us board members are on it, but we have been.
My suggestion, if you have questions, call Darlene Martin.
Right.
Okay, I'm just passing it on. Okay, any other communications or correspondence to report on? Okay. Comments by board members? Who would like to go?
I'll go first. Just noticing how we were moving today and having such a long meeting. My observation was that we need a check-in list form over here for presenters for upon arrival, then they could sign in and then they would need to probably go in and double check to make sure that their presentation is queued up and ready to go. That's it, that's all. Make it efficient for us.
Thank you. If I may, that actually, the reason I continue to allow them to search for the presentation, that was an oversight. It was sent to Dr. Hunt, and Dr. Hunt's on vacation.
I know, I was gonna ask where he was.
Yeah, and he did not send it to Angela. So they did it at the moment to me so that I could get it going.
Yeah,
But usually we do, but I'm sorry, they made a change to it. And so the change happened after his deadline. So we probably just need to make sure that we stick to our hard deadline so we don't have this, because we like to have all presentations submitted at least a week before, like around the pre-board time. And we allow the flexibility which then caused this. But yes.
Yeah, I was just saying when they came in, if they had a check-in list, they can sign in, then you can say, oh, they're here, big pictures here. Then do we have their presentation and kind of a few of it? You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you did a great job improvising.
I just wanted to be equitable since the other charter was going to have theirs.
Yeah. And you heard them, Egan. Oh, Egan did one. Well, you can do the presentation. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was somebody in the crowd telling us that we couldn't do.
Yeah, they were. Sorry.
Any other comments by board members?
Yeah, last weekend I went to the ACCBE
Were you remembering again?
board meeting. No, it was in Sacramento board meeting, and the
strategic summit?
Yeah, the strategic summit. That's like the representatives from across the state. So there was quite a few of us there. So kind of interesting. Last year they, as a 501c3, they got to produce an annual report. Some items have changed since the annual report. So some items probably to be aware of. 47 county boards are now members of ACCBE. They had 12 trustee sessions for us to attend during the last year. 12 different sessions that we could have attended. 15 sessions for new board members that they are sort of like the starting strong sessions for being elected. I believe in the last election, at the beginning of the month, there were 5 or 6 new county board members elected who will be seated in their spots on July 1st. There were 3 sessions that they did for trainings for student board representatives during the year. That the trustee handbook that was produced previously was refreshed by staff there. Their website was revamped, and it's going to be going under another revamping, kind of be even more informative, and they grew the board by 2 additional members. So it's been a pretty interesting time. It was interesting that some of the persons that attended on Saturday, I'm trying to remember which days are which, specifically said, like, man, when this whole thing started, I didn't think you guys would last like 6 months. So there's a lot of doubt, but they've been able to build a pretty good relationship, I think, with the Superintendent's Association, looking to expand that through the Probation Officers Association and the Probation Schools Associations. Fun items. I got more things. Never go and volunteer with apparently a person named Shelton Yip, who's a special education person. Apparently now I am now the co-chair of the advocacy or legislative committee with Shelton. But I did rope in another person who's an advocate, not an advocate, a lobbyist, who's a board member in Sacramento County. Sacramento's having lots of changes. One of their longtime board members, Bina, is not running, and so she will not be on the Sacramento County Office Ed board anymore. So she will not be continuing. many other persons filling other roles. So those will come. Looking to define better roles of and responsibilities of board members versus the ACCBE leadership. With the dues that have been paid, there's now a chief executive officer who's taken on more of those items. So it's not so intensive of a role for those who are all volunteers. So we're doing a little bit more reminding, moving some of those items.
Who is that?
Deborah Maus, M-A-U-S. And then there's a young lady who was an intern through Sacramento State, who she is working as a program coordinator. We'll see how long she lasts because she is also taking the LSAT to get into McGeorge, she hopes. They're looking at a more defined officer nomination and election process. The distinction of a 501c3 is a little different than, say, the statewide nomination election process that you see through CSBA. So it's a little bit, that's what I'll call it, different because of the type of nonprofit that it is. That's that. A lot of things that were discussed there were more of like 3-year strategic plan where the organization would be in the next 3 years, looking at, how do you continue to grow the organization, setting up the framework for, like Bina is the president, and this will be like the end of the year will be almost 2 years, and to move it to an annual item that moves in a progression and election process through the board. And how those items occur. The board, the county representatives, so they had the 3 regional trainings, I'm going to call it. The one that was closest to us was in Modesto that you and I went to.
I was there.
What were they called? Strategic summits? Oh, okay. So there were the 3, there was one Northern California, one Central, and one Southern. So they're talking about changing the name of the representatives to our boards to county board commissioners to be like a more official title to hopefully get people to engage a little bit more. Those becoming a set term of 2 years. And then, so what I asked was at the regional, I'm going to call them regional meetings, sorry, that's easier for me. But at those northern, central, and southern regional meetings, to have specific commissioner trainings on what the commissioner's duties were and to better engage the commissioners to fulfill those duties. And like what is kind of expected of them in participation. As far as committees, attending meetings, those types of things. So that's where it's kind of moving is, I'll call it more, I think of it in my IT terms, and in ITIL, we call it organizational maturity. And so maturing the organization from its sort of its infancy to becoming a mature organization. Later on, if you want, you can look at what ITIL scores are and all those fun things, but it scores organizational maturity. And so working on organizational maturity and succession planning and those types of items. It was a good time to listen to what's going on in other boards. I forwarded, I guess that was my email communications. I forwarded an item from John McPherson in Monterey County and what they're seeing in inter-district transfers. And that was reiterated across all the organizations. And part of that, I asked that in the regional meetings, trainings, whatever they want to call them, maybe we need to start looking at what are the effects of declining enrollments across the state and how are all the different counties handling those, and having more interaction with the Superintendent's Association about declining enrollment, because our county overall is seeing declining enrollment, but some districts are seeing growth. And they were like, what? And I was like, we have districts in our county that are seeing growth and other districts that are seeing reductions, and overall is a reduction. And then it was like, oh yeah, they're seeing the same thing like in Sacramento, where certain school districts are building new elementary schools because they're having growth, while other districts are closing elementary schools. So how's that really functioning for students? And how those kind of move around across the state, and that seems to be, I'll call like a universal issue across the entire state and all counties. I was sure glad that some of the districts who were saying that they have between 1,000 and 1,500 IDT appeals every year, that we're not falling in that category. But it seems that some districts that only had like 5 or 10 last school year, I've already had 200. So everyone's trending up in IDT appeals as districts deal with declining enrollment and other financial constraints that they're dealing with. So it's interesting to hear what the perspective of all these different reports are. Yeah, the knowledge in action, I think they call it those items. So it's very interesting to hear all the different perspectives across those. I reminded many of our members there that we are still members of CSBA and we support CSBA in their efforts. And so many of us who were there, of course, are still supporting CSBA in the efforts that they give us. Great products that they have for most of our legal departments, like the GMAT and those types of items that keep us on track. And so you'll see many of the same faces if you're in Marina Del Rey or in San Diego. And it's kind of surprising how many are maybe in delegate assembly who were there. So it was very, very good to see. And then if you know Dave Patterson, Dave is adjusting his role there and will be mainly focusing on governance and setting up the more governance structure and the governance committee within ACCBE. So that's my report on that.
Very good. Great. Thank you. Found your 14. Okay.
Every once in a while.
Thank you for representing us.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
More comments? No comments?
No.
No comments? Okay, I have a few. First, I just want to say graduation season was great.
Yes.
Thank you to the whole team.
Right.
All the events that I attended were really perfect.
Yeah.
They were perfect anyhow. So, and I know it's not just about graduation and getting to graduation, but and beyond, but with a great season. In your packet, I had Angela provide for you a PowerPoint from CSBA about that was just published yesterday with the latest in terms of the state budget and state legislative issues that CSBA is addressing. They're fighting for very vehemently and leading, and big concerns about the Prop 98 maneuver with the budget, priorities, and the four pieces of legislation that CSBA has initiated and supported with legislators. There's concerns about setting precedents with the Prop 98. There's information about county offices, how they might be affected if the budget remains similar to what it currently is. So I encourage you to just look through this because it'll give you a present day, one day old perspective from CSBA. Sitting on the legislative committee, I'm realizing that CSBA is becoming much, much more active in legislative issues. I know that ACCBE is also. I would like to ask if Member Burton would mind sitting with me on kind of a little ad hoc committee to consider looking at some policies and or options for us as a board if we, thinking about do we have policies, do we not? Do we want to consider formal adoption of more? I mean, last month we did approve the resolution. I'm just thinking we might want to consider a legislative committee permanently or not, but I'd just like to sit down with Member Burton and kind of think through different aspects of related to legislation and advocacy on behalf of our board. The other thing that I've had an issue with is some computer technology things, interfacing with Outlook and Google, and realizing that I'm a little outdated in some of my computer skills.
I'll go back to your legislative committee, and I've been thinking about it and wrote some things down just on that we might want to, because we might have stricter and stricter deadlines to reply to supporting legislation, and ourselves as a board, trying to align ourselves more and thinking about the impact that we have as a board with outreaching associations like the county's program that was started by the superintendent for items like the mental health services in schools, and how that is affected by like the California Welfare Directors Association, maybe more interaction with the Probation Chiefs Association, the Probation School Associations, and those types of things when they're supporting bills, that we as a body can be voices for them of how we can support them and be faster to act on that. And so that's something for our board to consider the next session, like you're saying.
Yeah, so maybe you and I can sit together and think about procedure, process that we might want to propose to this board for moving forward related to advocacy and
The
legislation.
alphabet soup of organizations that we
Yeah.
have.
So just the other topic that I was heading into is I need some training, some computer training on the Outlook, Google interface. I don't know if any of the rest of you do. I mean, it depends on what device I'm on, blah, blah, blah. Do any of you need or want any IT training so that we can coordinate together? If you do, and if not, I'll just follow up on my own.
I just couldn't get my diligent.
Community.
Yeah, I think I need a
couldn't get it open.
computer and
Try to get me in an hour early.
You need some training. You're fresh.
Yeah, I couldn't.
You're young, you're fresh.
I couldn't open the agenda either.
Oh, same
Yeah,
thing.
I couldn't open the agenda.
So, Member Burton, do you need any assistance?
I'm usually pretty good if we have something all the time.
Okay, so Angela, it's the two of us that need the help. So we'll work on that.
Dr. I couldn't open it either.
I couldn't get my agenda either.
Yeah, so, you know.
In fact, I brought it right here.
Here we go.
But they're
Okay,
all
so
Skype.
we'll try to schedule something maybe before our next meeting, or, you know, I don't know if it's gonna work at that time. Or if we're gonna have a 5-hour meeting, 4-hour meeting. How many hours is it? Spend 2 minutes. Anyhow, and the last thing I just want to say is, thank you all for being so diligent with today's meeting. You know, we had a lot going on. And I wanted to interject the reports. I'm sorry that they had to wait, but, you know, to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's my comments. Moving on to superintendent's report.
Mine is brief but really important. In order to submit our Golden Bell Awards, we need to have vetted it and sought your blessing to move forward. And see, at this point, we're going to really formalize it with Marcy's signature. So, as you know, we have been competitive for the last several years and have even extended that support within our school districts. We have at least one school district that has taken us up on our technical assistance so that they can be competitive as well in the process. But for us, there are so many exemplary programs. We were intentional about the 3 that are presented to you on this document. Briefly, the design, build, program in the program category of career technical education. And you know it well. It's in partnership with the Central California Builders Exchange, where we've engaged more than 100 industry partners. We've exploded the number of students participating to in excess of 1,200. And it brings together students from construction, welding, automotive, medical, education, culinary, media production, and public services pathways. And I believe it's a one of a kind in the state of California. So we're very, very excited about submitting that one. The second one we're submitting is a really unique, I'm not sure the readers will understand quite how special and unique this is. But I will tell you that across the state of California, let me first explain. It's the FCSS Community Schools Consortium. And what makes it so unique is that we have about 25 school districts in the state of California, most of whom are small school districts, and they need a considerable extra level of support in order to be able to be innovative and go after grants and funding. And we have taken that very, very seriously, especially in the last 2 years in our office. And so when about 3 or 4 years ago, community schools grant funding became available, most of our school districts sort of tapped out and said, we don't have the bandwidth. We have an LCAP that's 300 pages in its entirety and numerous compliance issues. So our department, led up by Brent, who has tremendous relationships with our school districts, kind of just came alongside them and said, what if I do a lot of the work with and for you? And today, we started off in the first year with 9 schools represented, and today I think it's 36. Oh, sorry, it went from 15 to 39. My numbers were a little off, but today, because of our consortium, we really believe we have 18,000 students that would not have been involved in community schools resources. And we believe strongly that community schools are transforming the experience in public education. So if the readers understand, and we've done a really good job of communicating what makes this so unique and special, I think we'll be on the map again for having done something that unique.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I like it. Thank you. The last and final one is something that's been a sleeper asset, if you will. That's a weird way to describe it, but it has been in place since 2004, headed up by Dr. Lisa Benham Lewis, the director of our ERWC. And it has received national recognition. It's funded at the national level, and our office leads it, again, with Lisa's direction, and it has spread over several years to include this California State University Chancellor's Office. And we are involved in districts across California, New Mexico, Hawaii, and Washington. And it's designed specifically to provide a reading and writing curriculum that closes the gap. And because this is so data-driven and program evaluated at such a high level, the results are really extraordinary. Again, I mentioned that we've sort of taken for granted that we're doing this amazing work and expanding and scaling at such an amazing level of growth, if you will. And it's just this year that we decided, oh my goodness, I bet you the state would be interested in that as a Golden Bell submission. So very optimistic about all 3 of these. Thank you for the advocacy of going after these opportunities to showcase how exceptional the work is that's happening in our office and in our county. And so we'll give that to you to sign off on. And
got it.
Oh, good. Good. And that concludes my report.
And done.
At almost 8 o'clock.
Terrific.
Great job.
Any questions for the superintendent? Okay, future agenda items.
Says Deputy Superintendent.
I just want to.
Give me that gavel.
Yes, sorry, Marcy.
I just want to circle around. Is Adam's going to get a report on Adam's?
But I'll next meeting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So let me know before our board agenda needs to come out whether or not it needs to be on the agenda.
I will do that. A text reminder would be helpful too. But I like to
give you some task. Put your task on your calendar. Okay. Any other future agenda items? Okay. Seeing none, next meeting is July 16th, right here, unless we have the special meeting. We tentatively have the special meetings June 25th at 11 o'clock. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone,
Okay.
for a really good,
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, is there a motion to adjourn? Okay. So Burton, Burton made the motion and the second was by Clyde.
Motion to adjourn.
Roll call, please.
President Massimo,
Yes?
Vice President Babcock Wilson.
Yes.
Member Burton,
Yes.
Member Clyde. Yes. Member Robles.
Motion carries, meeting's adjourned.
Turn us off.